In this video, I wanted to talk about Android exploits. So when you do an Android exploit, for the most part, you're going to have to come up with an APK file, an Android package file. And in order to do that, you might use a tool such as Metasploit. So I've already loaded up Metasploit here. If you want to get an idea of what's available, you could search on Android and it will come up with a list of possible Android exploits and also Android payloads. And this might take a little while if you don't have a database connection. Another way that you can come up with some exploits for Android is to use your use command. So you'll see here my list. There are a couple of modules. There's some auxiliary modules to gather information off of an Android device. You can also get more information, the SIP scanner, and you'll see there are a couple of exploits. So here's an Android browser exploit that will look at certain Android specific Java problems that might exist on some devices. And here we will look at this exploit. It has some references to Adobe PDF. So again, there are some Adobe issues with their reader specific to certain versions of Android. There are also a few different payloads. So if you have a payload that you want to launch into your Android device, you'll see that the Meterpreter shell is available. And sometimes they will use a stager and they might use a web-based stager such as this one. So again, the Dalvik machine, we talked about this in previous videos. Dalvik refers to the Android-specific Java virtual machine, which is used on those devices. So it's always going to be available on any Android device. And you can use that in order to deliver a payload. You can also, in some cases, connect directly to the device. So if you look, for example, at the Adobe Reader exploit, and I will copy that, and I will say use, and then I will paste this exploit. If I type info, it will tell me a little bit more about it. And it tells me if it's version this or less, it will expose information. It exposes native interfaces. So the native interfaces are the non-Java based interfaces, essentially giving me direct access to the machine. And some of the Android applications you might see out there actually have a native component, and they do this for performance reasons. So Adobe Reader is a very commonly run application on an Android device. So you want to maximize its performance with some specific code that attaches to the machine directly, that's talking to the machine, not through the Dalvik virtual machine. So I can, of course, say show payloads, and it will tell me I only have a couple of choices. Now, I can do a shell or a reverse shell, and notice that these are just the generic shells. These are not the Dalvik-based shells because I'm exploiting native code. If I had an Android device attached to my computer right now, I could try to deliver this exploit to it if it was vulnerable.